Hello, everybody, and welcome to GravityKit Live. I am Zack Katz.
Hey, everybody. I'm Casey from GravityKit.
Yeah, and we are excited to talk to you today because we got a lot of stuff going on. We've got a big announcement today, including our newest add-on called GravityBoard is going on pre-sale during this call.
Yeah, this is super exciting. This is something we've been working really hard on, and we're excited to kind of demo all the new features today and also release it for pre-sale.
Yeah, and if you're watching live, stay tuned. We're going to give you a 50% off coupon code that is exclusive to those who are watching live. So stay tuned. The coupon code's not going to be live for very long. Oh, hello, Klaus. Good to see you. Yeah, so Casey, before we get into GravityBoard, just a little update. And hello, Ken. Just a little update. I'm heading to Switzerland next week. I'm going to WordCamp Europe. And so if anybody is going to WordCamp Europe, please come and say hi. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to talk anything WordPress related or not. I have a deep love of cheese. So
Basel looks so beautiful. I'm quite
Dude,
jealous.
Basel looks really pretty. And normally I spend a lot of time like preparing myself and putting together a list of all the things I want to see in a place. This time I'm just going to play it by ear. And I realized, though, I should make a cheese tasting reservation somewhere.
I would think that's mandatory, yeah.
I would think so. And I don't love Swiss cheese.
And chocolate,
I'm sorry,
maybe?
but yeah, cheese and chocolate and I don't know, big long horns. Sorry, Switzerland.
We know a lot about Switzerland.
We know a ton. That's why I'm visiting, is because I want to have some cultural exposure, so I am not so, hackneyed on my Switzerland callbacks. So yeah, if you're in WordCamp Europe, please say hi. This is what I look like. I might be wearing something like this. And yeah, I'd love to talk to you. So Casey, you've been working really hard on improving GravityKit Academy. GravityKit Academy is at academy.gravitykit.com. It's our learning platform, and you've been doing a lot of work trying to make it better for people to get informed on what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our educational platform. And we've kind of relaunched it now because I'm putting a lot of effort into creating new content for this platform, and I'm moving over a lot of content that we have on our YouTube channel and kind of making it like a centralized hub for all kind of GravityKit educational guides and courses and videos. So I think it's going to be a really powerful resource for everybody. I'm actually currently working on some new courses for Gravity View as well, which I hope to release soon. And yeah, I think everything is kind of easier to search now as well. I've categorized and tagged videos and courses and guides. So I think it'll be mostly helpful for newer users. But we're also going to have, and we do have, some more kind of like intermediate and advanced courses on here too. Doing things like CRM capabilities and Gravity View and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of good resources here. We're going to be adding more. So please do check it out if you haven't already.
Nice. Yeah, and I'm excited. One of the things that I've been doing a lot of customer calls, like I've been talking to customers one-on-one, and they, some of the customers that I've spoken with have expressed that the organization of our docs could be improved. So that's I'm really excited about GravityBoard. Or sorry, I am excited about GravityBoard. GravityKit Academy. I'm really excited that it's looking better and it looks like so much more easier to get involved in. And Ken is absolutely correct. The Casey studies are expanding their footprint.
Yes, definitely, Ken. And actually, we have a new Casey study coming out pretty soon, so keep an eye on for that.
Nice. So, let's get into GravityBoard. So
Yeah.
GravityBoard, just to lay the table a little bit on the history of it, I've wanted to do a Trello-style Kanban board for Gravity Forms entries for years and years and years. And so a year and a half ago, I kind of started something. I started a code base and I set it aside because we had other things to work on. And then I was looking through my the list of things that I had set aside, and I was like, why have I set this aside? It's really useful. I really want to use this myself. And so we talked about what it might look like and how and what features it might have, and it's ready now. I'm really excited. I've been using GravityBoard to develop and plan GravityBoard itself. So I've been dog fooding it while I've been going. I'm a huge fan of like keyboard shortcuts. So expect more of those, but like Command Enter submits the form as you might expect. Things like that I've been trying to get really nice and smooth so that as people use this tool, it feels native and it feels really just as you might expect it to work. So Casey, can you show people what GravityBoard looks like?
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
More coming, Cherry. It's definitely more coming. Yeah.
All right, let me share my screen here. And let's see where we are now. Here is GravityBoard. I'm going to quickly show the page here. Let's see, where am I? Here we go. Oh no, that's not it. You know what? Let's dive straight into the demo. Okay. Yeah, this is GravityBoard. I want to quickly show off some of the features directly, and then what we're going to do is get into the actual configuration and see how it's set up in the backend. But I think it'll be really, really good to first look at how everything works. So yeah, like Zach was saying, this is an add-on for Gravity Forms. So all the data that you see here is coming from Gravity Forms. And maybe that's a good place to start if I quickly show the form that I have set up here. And in this case, I've got a basic task management workflow set up. So I have this form, and it allows you to input new tasks. You can add a task name, a priority level with the drop down here. You got a description field. You can add a due date and then a status. And there's different statuses here. You can set tasks to be part of the backlog or active, ready for review, complete, or things to tackle in the future. So when we add entries here, obviously they're going to be collected and stored in Gravity Forms, and you can see all of these entries here in the backend. What GravityBoard does is takes those and displays them on this beautiful, sleek, and feature-rich Kanban board that you can use for organizing your projects and tasks and collaborating with your team members. And that's what this is here on the front end. So let's dive into some of the features. First off, you'll notice that the cards are in these different lanes here, and these lanes are actually coming from the status field in Gravity Forms. So you can see we have backlog, active, ready for review, etc. And the cards themselves are the form entries. And you can see on each card, there's like a preview here. We can see the priority level here. We can see the title of the task. We can see the short description. We can also see the due date. And the date is actually color-coded. So the gray dates are like in the future. We have these red dates here, which means they're actually in the past. So the task is overdue. And then the yellow ones are like due within the next day. So that's quite nice. And then we also have some additional features. If we click on the card itself, that'll open that task. And the first thing you'll notice, the first thing that you can do is actually edit the card if you have those capabilities. And all you need to do is click on the various fields, and you can just update the title of the card right there. You can do the same thing with the label, which in this case is the priority level. So it's a drop down, and you can set that here. the description, same thing, and of course the due date. And it's all very responsive. And then you'll notice at the top here, we have assignees. So we have built-in user assignment, where you can assign users to different tasks. And all you need to do is click on the plus here, and you can see that you can see the current assignees, and you can remove them if you want to. And then you can see the other board members, the people who are collaborating on this board with me, and you can actually assign them to various tasks by just selecting them here. You get a nice preview of their name and their avatar. And yeah, this is a really nice feature. We also have built-in notifications so that you can send notifications to people when they get assigned to a task. And there's many, many more actions that can trigger notifications as well. And we'll dive into that a little bit later on. But the next thing that's really powerful here is attachments. So you can actually attach files to cards. So if you have a task that has an associated file with it, for example, you're developing some ad creatives or something like that, and you need to actually attach like a deliverable or like a template or something, you can easily do that here. This is a file upload field, and currently we have like a CSV file attached here. But I can kind of show how this works. Let me grab some files that I have on my computer. There we go. So I can drag my PDF document in here and to upload that. You can see it gives me a little preview. And then I can just click upload files, and that'll upload that to the card. And then I can also click on this PDF, opens a little preview for me here. And you'll see down in the bottom left corner here, you have the ability to open in new tab, and that'll actually open the PDF in your browser, which is really nice. So you don't have to actually leave the window to get that. You can also download it directly to your computer. And if you have the required capabilities, of course, to do this, you can also delete the file if you need to. So that's all happening in GravityBoard. And yeah, let's keep on going here. The next thing that's really exciting is the activity section. And here you can actually add comments to a task, and you can also mention people, and they will get a notification when you do that. So this is using the Gravity Forms entry notes functionality. And I'll give a quick example. So if I just write something here like, hey, how's it going? And then I can do an @ and then I get a nice list of all the people collaborating with me on the board, and I can just mention them. So for example, Dave Hanley. And then if I add that note, that will add it here as a little comment, and Dave Hanley will get a message. And they can, of course, go in here, add their own comment, and reply to that. So yeah, and then, of course, you have the ability to edit your comments too. You can kind of tweak things if you want to after posting. And you can always delete comments as well. So I think this is a really powerful feature that really allows teams to collaborate really nicely on different projects and tasks and get aligned and coordinated without having to use multiple apps. That is one of the things that teams often struggle with, is having to communicate via one app and then manage projects via another, and it gets complicated. You don't need to do that. Everything stays within GravityBoard, so you have one central location to ensure you're organized and coordinated on your projects.
Yeah, and if you click on View in Gravity Forms at the bottom of the modal, yeah, exactly. One of the nice things that we've added is the ability to see the attachments that were uploaded to a card inside the entry detail as well. So you can see the GravityBoard attachments. They're not, we decided not to require a Gravity Forms file upload field for this, because it's functionality that should be added to every card, whether or not the form has a file upload field, we believed. So You don't need to have a file upload field in your form to upload attachments. And you'll note also that the entry notes are visible in the Gravity Forms entry detail as well.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Zach. Everything that you're doing when you're modifying a card or adding data, that's all reflected in Gravity Forms. So it's tied together. And if you're updating information in a card, the associated Gravity Forms entry is automatically updated as well in the background.
Yep. We have a couple questions. Cherry asks, how customizable are the fields on the cards? Can I add my own custom fields / taxonomies? Currently, we have a somewhat rigid structure for the assignment of the data, but we plan on making that much looser and more flexible. Currently, the description field needs to be a text area field, for example, and the label can be many different field types. The due date can be either a date field or the entry created date. So we have certain field types that are required for these different current mapping items, but we plan on making that a lot more loose. And Rob asks, how do the tagged assignees get messages, through the site or by email? That's a great question, Rob. We will show you that. I'm not sure what Casey has planned next for the demo, but we will definitely get to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Short answer is over email.
Yeah.
But we will show you exactly how the notifications work.
And we plan on some deep integration with Uncanny Automator and also with Gravity Flow. So one of the nice things about the fact that when you edit an entry via GravityBoard, you're editing the actual Gravity Forms entry, which allows you to tap into the huge ecosystem of Gravity Forms add-ons and powerful integrations that already exist. So with Gravity Flow, I'm sure you could hook it up to send some webhook. And same with Uncanny Automator, like have it tag somebody in a CRM based on conditional logic rules. So there's a lot of functionality that we're super excited about. And we are planning on building out that functionality really soon to make those powerful integrations easy to hook up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Yeah, so let's take a look at some more of the features in GravityBoard. So somebody did ask about the fields. I'll show you how we configure this in the backend, but first I'm just going to go over a few other things. So let me get out of this particular task. So the other thing is, I should have mentioned this in the beginning, but everything is drag and drop. So you can drag and drop entire lanes if you want to reorder things like this, for example. We could move the backlog here for whatever reason, if we wanted to. Could move that back. And then you can also drag and drop individual cards, of course. So if something has been completed, we could move that from ready to review over to complete. And again, when you do this, the associated Gravity Forms entry is being updated as well in the background. So that is reflecting in Gravity Forms. So the next thing to look at is these two options here at the top right. So you can enter full screen mode, which is quite nice. And then we also have filters. So if I click on that, you'll see that there are a number of different filters here for filtering cards by not only keyword, but also assignees and also due date. So as an example, if I type something in here in the keyword, you can see it filters those cards instantly, depending on what I'm writing here. So let's do fix, and then I get the fix login bug card coming up here. So that's really nice. And then we have the ability to filter by assignees. So if I wanted to see all the tasks assigned to myself, for example, I could do that, and I can see I just have 2 tasks assigned to myself. One is very overdue, so better get moving on that. So that's great, and you can select multiple assignees as well. And then, of course, you can filter by due date as well, and you have a number of options. So you can look at cards that maybe have no dates. cards that are overdue. And again, the date will come up in red here. So it's letting you know that that is in fact overdue. And then due the next day, due the next week, and then due the next month. So you have plenty of options here to kind of drill down and make sure that you're getting to the tasks that you need to be seeing. So yeah, got some really powerful filters there.
And one of the nice things about GravityBoard, the way we've set it up, is that this all updates the URL dynamically. So Casey, if you could do another filter, please, like, yeah, do in the next week or how about next month? Yeah, and then maybe
do that.
Add an assignee. Yeah. So if you refresh, it will go to this exact same page because it has updated the URL to those parameters, those search parameters. So these are shareable links. So if you or bookmarkable for that matter. So if you want to make sure that you always see only the tickets assigned to you or assigned to somebody else, you can do that. And clicking clear all clears all those filters out immediately. So you don't have to see those anymore. And if you want to link to a specific card, which is something that we do all the time, linking to specific issues in Slack, for example, you can click a card and that updates the URL as well. So refreshing will open that modal automatically. You don't have to tell somebody to, find this card, click it. It just remains open in the URL. And same with full screen mode or not full screen mode, which is really cool. So I've been really enjoying that feature specifically while developing and testing.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so helpful just to share stuff with team members, especially if you're on a specific card and they don't know what you're talking about. You can just send them a link, and we'll get aligned on that. All right. Shall I move on, Zach? Carry on, or do we have any questions?
Yeah, let's move on. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I just want to mention that you can add new lanes and cards as well if you do have that capability directly from the board itself. So you'll notice at the bottom of each lane, there's a little add card button, and you can just click that, and up pops the modal, and you can add a new task in here. So you can just give it a name, add an assignee if you want to, and then fill out the remaining details, like the label, which is the priority in this case. You can add a description in here and give it a due date. And then, of course, add attachments and things like that if you want to. And then when you save that, you can see that gets saved to the board directly. So that's really handy. You don't actually have to go out into Gravity Forms and add the entry there. You can do it directly in GravityBoard. But then when you do add it in GravityBoard, it will also be created in Gravity Forms. So again, there's a connection there all the time. So.
And one of the things that I've been doing a lot recently, Casey, is so there's another thing to do in GravityBoard. I go down to the backlog, I click add card. If you could just show how easy this is, I click add card, and then I type the title, like example, and then just hit enter.
Right.
Which
there you go.
Which allows for quick data entry, which is so important to just otherwise I didn't want to have to tab through or click save. If you hit enter and that's good enough for a new card, it creates the entry and you're all set. So quick data entry was a priority for us on this.
Yeah, that's so good, because sometimes there's small things that come up that you don't want to forget in the moment. And you just want somewhere where you can put it quickly, and that's just so helpful for that kind of thing.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Yeah, let's show the back end, because Cherry had a question of, is the color scheme one that I can edit? That's a great question, and that's in the back end. We'll show what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you can absolutely edit it. You're not stuck with my poor choice of color palette. Don't worry.
It's colorful.
Yeah. Where am I now? Okay. Yeah. So here I am. I'm in the Gravity Forms backend. I'm on the Forms page, and I'm going to show you how this is actually set up. So in this case, I have a board added to my tasks form, and I'm just going to go to the form settings here, and you'll see that GravityBoard is here on the left. It's actually added as a feed. So that means that you can configure multiple boards per form if you want to. There's no limit. And when you do have that board configured, this is what the page looks like. You get this nice short code, which you can use to embed the board anywhere on your site. We also have a WordPress block that you can use for that. And then you can also view the board from the WordPress admin by just clicking this button. And that actually opens the board inside your admin, so you don't even have to embed it on the front end to interact with your data. And of course, all of the features I just showed you, it's all the same in the back, in the admin, right? So if you wanted to use it like this, you could absolutely do that. Cool, so I'll just head back to the feed page, and then we'll edit the feed, and I'll just show you how everything is configured. So as you can see, the settings here are actually grouped into these nice tabs at the top. So we have configuration here, we have notifications, permissions, appearance, which is what the question was about. And then we have advanced. So I'm going to go through each one and just give a brief overview of all the different options. So starting here in the configuration tab, of course, you can give your board a name and a description, which will just help you identify which one it actually is. And then scrolling down, here is the field mapping. So this is how it currently works, like Zack was mentioning. You first have to set a lane field. And in this case, as you saw, it was set to the status field in my form. And Zack, correct me if I'm wrong, but this has to be a select field of some kind, right?
A select
It can't
or
be
a
like
radio field.
a select or radio field, right?
Yeah.
So like a drop
only you
down.
can only have one is the point of that.
Right.
And
Got
we
it.
are planning, so right now this requires a form. We are planning on having it so that you're a form field. We're planning on having it built into GravityBoard cards as well. So you don't need to have a form field. You can define a global set of field presets, like lane presets. So if you wanted to make it easier to create a board, you could have it where the status fields are defined globally, and you could apply the global presets to a board. So we're planning on making this a little more flexible. We wanted to get it out as soon as it was ready, and that type of implementation is going to take a little longer. But for now, it's a select field and a radio field are the two options there. And we also plan on supporting Gravity Flow workflow steps, so that when you move a card between lanes, it modifies the Gravity Flow progress. So I think the Gravity Flow lovers out there will appreciate that integration when we're ready with that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so yeah, you can map the lane field. You can map the card title. So in this case, it's mapped to my task field, which is some kind of text input. And then we have the card description, and then the card label. And in this case, I've decided to map that to the priority field. But again, this could be a different field if you wanted it to. And then finally, it's the due date. That can either be mapped to an existing date field in your form, or it can be mapped to the actual entry date, the date that the entry was created. Awesome. And then scrolling down, you have the option to enable all of the various features that I showed you. So you can enable the entry notes functionality, which allows you to comment on different tasks or different cards and mention people. So you have control over all this stuff, including assignees. So you can enable assignees. And if you want to, you can actually restrict the available assignees to a certain user role. So you have the ability to do that and kind of lock things down if you want to. And then, of course, you can enable card attachments as well. So these are all optional settings that you can configure depending on your use case and what you need. All right, so moving on to the notifications. So this is a really exciting aspect of GravityBoard, which is the ability to send notifications for all kinds of actions that have been performed on the board. And this is really important, right? Because you want people to be aligned on what's happening and the progress of the project and things like that. So the first thing, you can enable this option to trigger form notifications. So Gravity Forms has built-in notifications already, and GravityBoard adds a bunch of events to trigger those notifications. And so you can enable that option here, which means that when cards are added, updated, deleted, you can choose to trigger certain form notifications when those actions happen. But again, you'll have to configure those notifications in the Gravity Forms email notification option there. And I'll go through that in a second. Next, we actually have the mention notification. So when you add a comment and you at somebody, they will get a notification. You can decide if they get a notification when that happens by enabling this option. And then you can actually configure that notification here, and that's an email notification. And you can set a subject, and you can configure the email body. We have a default one here already, but you can customize that, and you can bring in information dynamically using these various merge tags. So if you wanted to reference, the specific entry, for example, the entry ID, you could do that, or the specific name of the board where that mention happened, you could do that. And there's plenty of other options here as well. And then again, for any other actions that have been performed on the board, you can configure those notifications in Gravity Forms. So if I open the notifications tab here, and I can add a new notification, this is all built into Gravity Forms already. But what we've done is added a lot of new events here. And the event is the thing that actually triggers the notification. So if you open that, you'll see GravityBoard. And there's a lot of different actions here that you can select. So like you can trigger a notification when a card is added, a card is edited, a card is deleted. Same thing with lanes. Same thing with assignees, when an assignee is added or removed or updated. Even when an attachment is added or removed or updated. So you have plenty of options, and this gives you like full control. So you don't have to necessarily receive notifications when all of these things happen. You can configure the notifications and decide what actions trigger them and who they get sent to.
Yeah, and that is fully integrated with the conditional logic for the notifications system. So if you were to want to be updated when a card changes lanes, but only when the card is now in a specific lane, you can have that. Hold on. Yeah. So if the status is now ready for review, that makes a lot of sense to get an email. And we also added some notifications settings specific to GravityBoard. If you add another one, Casey.
Yeah.
And then choose from the first one. Yeah, so GravityBoard feed and GravityBoard assignee. So you can say only send notifications if the assignee is a specific person, or if the assignee is empty and doesn't have any assignees yet. So like, let's say ready for review and nobody's assigned yet, you might want to get notified, or vice versa. If you are the assignee, you might want to be notified when the lane has updates. And for the feed, because you can have multiple feeds per form, you might want to have different setups with your GravityBoard, where different GravityBoards have different functionalities enabled or disabled, like attachments, for example, entry notes, assignees. That can be disabled on one board, and then another board can be configured differently with different notification statuses, all using a shared data set, which enables some really powerful functionality.
Yeah, totally. I love how configurable this is. And if anybody's been using Gravity Forms for a long time, you'll know how powerful the built-in conditional logic is. And being able to leverage that in GravityBoard too just adds another layer of configurability.
We have some feedback, Casey, before we move on. Cherry says, this is fantastic. Thank you. Greg asks, is there a plan to create a signal notification for multiple event types so we don't have to create a notification for each event type? That's an interesting idea. We haven't considered that, but Greg, I'd love if you could send us more information about what you would like to see here, that'd be great. And we can certainly consider implementing it. And it does make sense. What I did I think, Casey, were you just showing the duplicate functionality there?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
So in Gravity Forms, you can create a notification, then duplicate it. That's what I've been doing. So I create one, duplicate it, change the event type. It would be nice to be able to multi-select that. I don't know how feasible that is with the Gravity Forms interface. It would require modifying their interface. So we'll have to look into that. But please send additional details for what you're hoping to see to either in the chat here or to support@gravitykit.com. And then finally, Firefly New Media UK, hello, says, could this be used as an admin tool for admins/editors to manage entries internally, while Gravity View is just shown to regular users? Yeah, that is absolutely one of the ways that we plan on doing this. Like, you can set the lanes to be, pending review, under review, approved, disapproved, and then filter Gravity View views to only show the ones that are approved. So yes, we plan on. So GravityBoard is not an app builder. It's an app, right? It has the functionality built into it. It has what it has. Gravity View allows you to choose what you want Gravity View to do. So like, you build powerful, complicated apps that have tons of functionality that are whatever you define. And GravityBoard has predefined set of things that interface nicely with the rest of the ecosystem, including all of our add-ons. And so, yeah, we plan on using it internally to manage things, and then externally show a different set of things to the public. So for like a feature request board, we plan on migrating ours to GravityBoard and then displaying it on the front end, not allowing users to drag and drop or add attachments, but we would be able to do that on our end, in the back end, or even on the front end with different permission structure. So we see these working together, Gravity View and GravityBoard, a lot.
Yeah, totally. And that's a good place to talk about how the permissions work. So if I edit this board again, I can head over here to the permissions tab in the feed. And this gives you really granular control over the access and who can do what on the board. And the permissions are grouped here as well, so it makes it easy to kind of see what's what. And the first thing is like, who can view a board, right? And so you have a lot of different options for that. You have like broad access options, so you can disable for everybody or everyone, including logged out users can view, only logged in users. And then, of course, you can set that depending on based on the Gravity Forms capability of the user. So, if the person has the capability to view entries in Gravity Forms, then they can view a Gravity board, for example. So you have different options here. And then, of course, you could restrict that by WordPress user role as well. So you have a lot of different options to kind of restrict the access to your boards. And then you have permissions by card as well. So you can, set who can add cards, who can edit cards, who can delete cards. You got the same for lanes, the same for assignees. So you can restrict who can view assignees, who can assign users. I particularly like this capability because you might have a project manager or a team lead or something who is the person who's actually assigning tasks to people, and you only want them to have that ability. You can configure that here. And then you can also set permissions for the entry notes. So who can actually leave notes on entries? Who can edit notes? Who can delete notes? Things like that. Again, you might only want admins to be able to delete stuff, right? So you can set that here. And then there's permissions for the attachments as well. And again, you might only want admins to have the ability to add documents, or you might want them to have the ability to delete documents, while regular users don't have that capability. So there's a lot of granular control over who can do what and the access settings.
Yeah, and all of this stuff is using the REST API, like that's how it interacts with the data, just for those who are technically minded. And we also, Gravity Revisions, one of our add-ons, is able to track all the different changes to everything. So that's one of the nice integrations that we have in our own system. Like, as the card gets updated and modified by multiple different people, and attachments are added and notes are added, like, Gravity Revisions will keep track of all that for you as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, so finally, the Appearance tab. This gives you control over the look and feel of your board. So the first thing you can do is set a minimum height. So if you want to change the size. And then, of course, you have options to change the colors of the board as well. And so not only can you set a board background color here, or background image, but you can also set the individual colors of the various lanes in your board. And I think somebody did ask that earlier. So that is possible. I've set these before, but you can absolutely change them. And this will change depending on how many lanes you have. So if you had more lanes, you would have more options here to set those different colors. And again, you just click on there and you get a nice color picker, and you can choose whatever colors that you want to add there. And then I thought I'd quickly show how this the background image works. So this is quite a nice feature if you want to like brand your board. Perhaps you have a company logo or something like that that you want to show in the background to kind of make it more aligned with your organization. So you can actually just add an image here, and I'll just add one from my media library. There we go, and we can save that. And then when I refresh the page, you can see that that image shows up on the background of my board. So yeah, I think that's quite nice, along with the different color settings to kind of get it looking like your brand, and kind of personalize it a little bit to you and what you're using it for.
Hey, Casey, could you go back to the demo?
Sure.
And click full screen. And then let's say you have multiple items that have been finished, and you don't want to drag one by one. I had a lane that had like 50 things in it, and it led to this feature development. If you click on active and the ... next to active,
Yep.
move all cards in this lane.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and the same when you delete a lane, it gives you this option.
So you can select
say,
a lane
okay,
here.
I want to move everything to completed. So that's a nice way to bulk edit all these entries. And in terms of people talking about the integration with Gravity View, this is a great way to bulk approve entries if you want to. So that's a nice little feature there.
Yeah, I love that. And I totally skipped over that in the beginning, but that's a great feature. Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, so back in the configuration, I think we just had the advanced tab to look at. And I think one of the standout things here is that we also have conditional logic built into the feed itself. So if you wanted to restrict the kind of cards that are showing up on your board, depending on certain conditions, that's what you can do here by enabling conditional logic. So let's say, for example, I wanted only to show cards where the priority was, or wasn't, let's say, low. I only want to show cards with a priority level that is above low. I can set that here using conditional logic. So that's a really nice feature too.
Yeah, and can you show also the GravityBoard assignee in the conditional logic?
Oh, yes, yeah.
So you can say only show people who are currently assigned. So if you wanted to have one board where people only see cards that are assigned to them, so you have two boards, one for a manager and one for the staff, for example. The manager would then assign people, and the staff would all access the same board, but they would see different entries based on whether or not they're assigned. And furthermore, we added the ability to filter to only show cards that are created by the current user. So that's a nice way to do things as well. So like you want people to only see the cards they created. That's possible with conditional logic too.
Yeah, I love this because you can create like multiple interfaces for different people and different teams, and it could all be, you know, the same board, but like different conditions that have been added, so they can see different things like tailored to what they need. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and I think I'd love to hop on a call with Cherry. She's got a lot, or they've got a lot of great ideas. Can the assigning list draw from a source other than WP users? So it can, I could use it to assign to a client/project. I love that idea. Not currently, but let's talk. This you've got a font of great ideas. Keep them coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And we love getting feedback like this. So if you have any ideas or feedback for us, please do let us know, and you can drop it in the chat or email our support. It's very helpful.
Yeah, and also just in terms of the appearance, you can set minimum height if that matters to somebody. Yeah, we've tried to make it super accessible and do best practices for accessibility and with respect to screen readers and things like that. Yeah, and I think we've done a really good job. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, I think it's just so responsive and so easy to use, and I've been loving it. So
yeah, one of the things that is nice to have is a feeling of joy, and that's one of the and ease. And I want to make sure that GravityBoard is as fun and easy to use as possible, and that's what we've been really focusing on.
Yeah, and we should probably mention again that it is available for pre-sale, Zach.
Yeah. So, Casey, let's tell the people where to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can head on over to our website, and you'll see GravityBoard, or you'll see the pre-sale for GravityBoard available in our products page. So it's just at gravitykit.com/products/GravityBoard. And then we have a discount code for everybody watching. If you're keen to get GravityBoard on pre-sale, you can actually get 50% off using the code that we have. And that code is kanban50.
Yeah. So add it to your cart, apply the discount code, and you get 50% off the first year for this pre-sale of GravityBoard. We are so excited, and we're going to be keeping on improving and enhancing this for a long time to come, and we're really psyched.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, if you do pick up GravityBoard, we would love your feedback and love to know your thoughts on it. It will be released pretty soon here, Zach.
Yeah, we're in the process of essentially final testing. We've been using it internally for weeks now. We just want to make sure that everything works just right before making it live. So I would say in the next 2 weeks, I would hope to have it ready. But there is WordCamp Europe, so don't hold me to that. But like it's a matter of weeks before the end of June for sure. It'll be out and in your hands. So to save 50% off, go to gravitykit.com/products/GravityBoard, and then use discount code kanban50 for 50% off your first year. We're super excited. Greg asks, is it already included for All Access Pass customers? Yes, it is. All Access Pass customers will get GravityBoard for free. So if you're considering an All Access Pass and you haven't done that yet, buy an all access pass, get everything that we already offer, and you will also get access to GravityBoard. And Cherry writes, this is 1,000% applicable. That's a lot applicable to some projects I'm working on right now. This is great. That's so cool to hear. And
Yeah,
also, I
that's
want to
fantastic.
encourage everybody to, let me make sure I have the URL right. Yeah. To go to gravitykit.com/consultation. And I'm going to put this up on the screen. If you go here, you can book a call with me and we can talk. And I'd love to hear your feedback, not just on GravityBoard, but everything about how you use GravityKit, Gravity Forms, WordPress, what you do. We'd love to hear more. I would love to hear more as well about what you're doing and how you're doing it and how we can better serve you. So please go to gravitykit.com/consultation and schedule a call. Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, Ken says, thank you for adding to us all access members. Yeah, absolutely. All access pass is what it says. So
Yeah.
you'll get access to all of our new tools as we release them. And
And
then
Firefly says, well done, nice product. Looking forward to using it. Buy Trello. Hell yeah. That's awesome.
yeah, and that's a great point. Actually, like another advantage of GravityBoard is you control all of your data, right? You have it all self-hosted on your own website. You don't have to rely on like a SaaS for that. So it's another benefit.
Yep. And Ken writes, I was considering using Trello and started using your task management, and this helps me enhance that even further. Rob Davis. Hi, Rob. Thanks for this wonderful creation. It broadens the many applications of Gravity Forms of GravityKit. My only fear is adding adding another tool will do to the entries database. Well, the entries database should be kind of the same, right? One of the nice things about GravityBoard is how light it is. It uses Ajax for all the different ways that when it populates the board, when it updates the board, it uses Ajax calls directly. Those are really nicely optimized. So it should be really light on your server in terms of adding another tool. I haven't read this yet, but Rob writes, those of us with large sites have very plump GF entry, entry meta, and other tables. Any future thoughts about broadening the tables used by add-ons like this one? You know, we've been having these conversations internally at GravityKit about whether we should register custom tables that are per view, for example. Like each view would have its own database table that has its own index maintained and things like that. It's a really big engineering lift to get that done right. And we want to make sure to get it done right because we don't want to mess up your database. So at the moment, we aren't considering it. I assume, Rob, that customer support has been in touch with you about adding indexes for the database that we found help improve things, help improve performance for existing Gravity Forms entries tables. So if you haven't been in touch with support about that, get in touch with the support. We have a couple SQL commands to run that dramatically improve the speed of the Gravity Forms entries table. So hopefully that addresses that. Cool. So just a reminder, everybody, go to products, gravitykit.com/products/gravityboard, and then enter kanban50 for 50% off. This discount code, I don't know how long it's going to be up, but it's not going to be up for long. This is a live GravityKit live call special. Cool.
Yeah, totally.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Casey, for your excellent demos, and I look forward to seeing everybody whom I meet at WordCamp Europe. And
Yeah,
yeah.
this was a lot of fun. We did have a couple of questions that came in.
Oh my gosh, I'm signing off too early. We have questions to answer.
Well, I was going to say some of the questions are demo requests, which are might be. We're kind of almost at the hour now, so it might be a bit long to demo those. But what I can do is record a video of those demos and release those maybe on our YouTube channel.
Oh,
So
great.
anybody who did submit a demo request, you can still get that. We haven't forgotten about you.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, yeah, we don't want to go too long here, because we
Yeah.
usually, maximum for us is about an hour on the
Yeah.
session. So
Cool. Yeah, and if you have anything that you'd like to see specifically at GravityKit Live, please let us know. We're happy to incorporate that. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Have a good rest of your day.
yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone.